Now at 5, pro-Palestinian encampments continue to grow at college campuses here in the Bay Area as the situation is also intensifying across the country.
These demonstrations coinciding with today's May Day labor rallies, the annual call to improve worker conditions and wages. Thanks for joining us here on Crown 4 News at 5. I'm Noelle Bello.
And I'm Grant Lotus. Throughout the day today, we have seen these rallies across the Bay Area. Many of them are also calling for an end to the war in Gaza.
One is happening in Oakland right now. Crown 4's Dan Thorne joining us live from that demonstration. Dan?
Yeah, Noelle, we're out here at the West Oakland BART station where the rally is just sort of wrapping up. But this was looked at as a victory rally. There are some people that are still hanging out here, and the reason why they're calling it a victory rally was plans were to have this group go over to the Port of Oakland and to stop the Port of Oakland from generating money that they say the United States uses to send to Israel in what they call a genocide that's going on in Gaza. This group out here didn't have to go to the Port of Oakland because the Port of Oakland had closed off work to workers today. So again, they called this a victory because they didn't have to go over there. But the group out here did organize. They had some union leaders. They had several other group leaders here speaking about the situation that's going on in Gaza. Some of them saying that it's important to understand that May Day has a significance not only for workers but also for the pro-Palestinian movement and the movement against, again, what they're calling a genocide in Gaza. They say that there is a connection between the movements that's happening right now and also historically what has happened for union groups and for workers across this country. The Arab Resource and Organizing Center was planning on having one of the big union leaders here earlier. They ended up getting stuck in traffic, but they will be sharing a statement with us about the situation that's going on. They also say of all the movements that have been happening across the country at college campuses, in front of businesses, in downtown cities, is showing that they're beginning to win this fight, that they're beginning to win popular opinion by saying that what's going on in Gaza is wrong. And again, these groups are coming out here. They are planning to continue to march and to rally until the ceasefire resolution gets met and the bombing stops in Gaza. And they say that they're not going to stop until it comes to that point. And they are hoping to put pressure on not only local cities, but also on Congress and ultimately the President of the United States to stop backing Israel in this war. We're, of course, going to keep you updated on what happens here throughout the night. The plan right now, though, is to continue to rally here for a little bit longer, and then there may be some movement to some other locations. But a victory for them that they're calling because they are no longer having to go to the Port of Oakland, which had to close off to workers today, which was probably an estimated loss of around $12 million. They say will not be going to Israel. Noelle, Grant, back to you.
Well, it does seem like it's peaceful out there. Dan, thank you. We can't say it's peaceful in other areas having these demonstrations. Classes at UCLA were canceled today after chaos erupted on the campus overnight. Pro-Palestinian protesters there clashing with counter-protesters, forcing the university to call in police in riot gear. It follows the chaotic scene at Columbia University last night. NYPD cleared out Hamilton Hall, where protesters were barricaded inside. About 300 protesters were arrested. For weeks now, demonstrators there have demanded the university divest from Israeli-linked companies. The NYPD will maintain presence on campus until mid-May at Columbia University. Here in the Bay Area, we're of course keeping an eye on the growing protests as well.
Crown 4's Rob Nesbitt joins us live in the newsroom. As more and more tents are being set up there. We'll check in with Rob momentarily. First, though, Crown 4's Leslie Gooden is at Stanford, where students demonstrating there say they're concerned about how the school might punish them. Good evening, Leslie.
Yes, good evening. It's been very peaceful here, very quiet throughout the day. Students have been hosting workshops for each other, educating each other on what to do if they are possibly detained. And also they've gotten some support from faculty as well. And, you know, if you take a look right here, it's been like this for majority of the evening, very quiet and a little empty too. And I did talk to several students who say that, you know, they want to remain this peaceful environment, but they want to make sure that their voices are being heard. And, they say that they also have noticed increased security measures as well. They've noticed additional cameras around the encampment, but also more police officers, security walking around, especially in the morning. I'm going to have more information. We're going to hear from those students coming up at 6. Back to you all.
Lesla, thank you. Meantime, students and faculty at Santa Clara University held their own protest and teach-in today in solidarity with the Palestinian demonstrations. We spoke with organizers who say they felt it was important for them to put the event together.
We wanted to also call for change on campus in terms of having our university divest from any investments they have supporting the IOF currently.
We work closely with them to ensure that the goals of their activity could be met at the same time the university can ensure a safe environment given everything that's going on across the country.
That protest there at Santa Clara will go until 8 o'clock tonight. The largest campus protest in the Bay Area is at UC Berkeley, where more than 100 tents are set up in front of Sproul Hall.
And so far, no one there has been arrested. However, Jewish students we talked to say they have been harassed by some of the protesters. And KRON 4's Rob Nesbitt joins us live in the newsroom with more on that part of the story. Rob?
The protests at UC Berkeley have also remained peaceful compared to what we have seen in other parts of the country. But talk to students in the Jewish community and they'll say safety is not a priority for the university. With hundreds of tents as their backdrop, faculty and staff at UC Berkeley joined student protesters Wednesday. They're calling on the university to stop investing in companies that work with Israel, especially if they are involved in making weapons of war. Spokesperson for the university, Dan Mogilov, says so far there have been no disruptions to operations and no violence.
That every student, no matter who they are, what they believe in, has a right to feel respected, welcome, and a true sense of belonging.
Jewish students on campus tend to disagree, saying their safety has not been a priority for several months.
It's disheartening. It's scary. I don't feel welcome here anymore on my own campus.
Nathan Yaffa wears his Star of David necklace with pride, but says Free Palestine protesters become hostile with him once they realize he's Jewish.
It's gotten really out of hand. I try to come here every day to just see what's going on, and I've been followed multiple times. My friends have been followed home multiple times, where I've had to come and get them because they don't feel safe.
Experiences like that on college campuses have gotten the attention of the Jewish Community Relations Council Bay Area. CEO Tyler Gregory says non-students are often at fault for escalating tensions, asking UC Berkeley not to allow them into encampments on campus.
We also want to make sure that threatening, blocking, violence, of course, intimidation, that those kind of tactics are banned, and that those folks be removed as well.
Not much class time left at UC Berkeley. This week is a study week. Next week is finals, with graduation scheduled for May 11th. Reporting in the newsroom, I'm Rob Nesbitt, KRON 4 News.
Thank you, Rob. Cal Poly Humboldt has decided to hold a modified graduation ceremony after dozens of people were arrested there while protesting the war. The ceremony will be held Saturday, May 11th. The university has announced a hard closure of that campus until May 10th because of the protests. The Cal State University system as a whole has responded to the demonstrations. Officials say they do not intend to alter existing investment policies related to Israel or the Israel-Hamas conflict, saying, quote, CSU investments provide a stable revenue stream that benefits our students and faculty and supports our critical campus facilities, scholarships, and other key elements of our educational mission. A divestment of this sort impinges on the academic freedom of our students and faculty and the unfettered exchange of ideas on our campuses.
High school students also getting in on this at Oakland Technical High School. Students walked out of class today protesting the conflict in Gaza, calling for a ceasefire. Here's what one of the organizers had to say.
We want to show solidarity with all the universities who have been, putting themselves on the line, and especially during final season. And we really want to prioritize spreading education about this, especially since our institutions aren't doing anything.
We did reach out to the Oakland Unified School District for comment on this afternoon, but we have so far not heard back.
Richmond City Council members have agreed to stop investing in companies they say are involved in Israel's violations of Palestinian rights. Council members passed the resolution last night. Richmond will divest from an agreed-upon list of companies, including Airbnb, Microsoft, Motorola, among others. Last October, Richmond City Council members passed a resolution affirming the city's support and solidarity with the Palestinian people of Gaza. And stay with Crown 4 on air and online for the latest info on this war, from campus protests to the war in Gaza itself, divestment, hostages, you name it. You can head to our website, crown4.com.
Coming up, it's been a long and controversial recount in the race to replace Congresswoman Anna Eshoo. The numbers are in. We're speaking live with one of the contenders.
Plus, the fallout after the city of Oakland failed to get free money to help fight crime, who the city auditor's office is blaming for the costly mistake.
And what embattled Alameda County DA Pamela Price could do next as she fights to keep her job.